Good morning. So, I want to talk about transcending your ego during the spiritual awakening, and what that really means. Because we have come into this human experience as a higher being. We are our soul, and we have this body that which allows us to move through time, space, matter with energy. Um, and this body was given to us as a vessel to carry us through this experience, because all life is an experience. We come into life, and there is a progression. And what is the only thing that are absolute is that during this lifetime, right? And even that's not absolute. We're born and then we die. Those things are, and whatever happens in between there, that is your life. That is the experience that you make. That is the way that we expand God, the way that we expand our own selves. And the thing is that we are not given instructions. So when we come into this body, many times we are taught that we are this body. We think that the ego thinks that it is separate, as it is a separate entity, and it thinks that it's its own entity. So there's this constant internal conflict between the ego thinking that it's itself, thinking that it is the experience, it is what is. So it's like between the physical and the non-physical, right? And so it's just like between heaven and earth, which both exist simultaneously, and each of them, they are the same. They are all part of the same thing, right? So ultimately, during the spiritual awakening, it means that our spirit is awakening and coming into its power, and we're coming in to realize that we are more than just this physical body, right? The ego is within this body, which holds us separate, which allows us to have this experience as if we are a separate entity, which allows us to have the sense of the sense of I am apart from everything. And as we transcend the ego and come into our higher selves, we start realizing that, okay, I have this vessel, this body. Yeah, first of all, I want to treat this body nice, because this body is what is allowing me to have this experience. And it is my tool. It is my ultimate tool for this experience, but it is not the essence of who I am. It is part of who I am. It is under my responsibility. It is um, the only one that I have been given, no matter, regardless of what it looks like. What it looks like it's a vessel. It is perfect for what its purpose is, which is to carry you through this life. Whether you perceive your vessel to be beautiful or not to be beautiful, that's your self work that you need to do, because whatever it is divine. It came to you in a perfect way. I'm making chocolate balls from dates that I actually collected, all sorts of different kinds of nuts and chia. It's like energy. They're really full calorie, full energy, like healthy. I began this in the video before. So as we come into our own, and as we come into our soul level, we start seeing, the thing is that when we are in ego mind, we are making our experience smaller, because we are thinking that it is us. So then we live by all of these worldly rules, which are, I'm not enough. We have all of these worldly, this is who I am. I only have these capabilities. Not all options are open for me. We have all of these insecurities that sit within the ego mind, when the ego thinks that it is it. When you know that you are divine, then all options open for you. And what happens a lot of times, a conversation I was having, also something that downloaded, a conversation I was having with a girlfriend yesterday, is that, and she has had an episode with cancer, and she has had an episode with her thyroids, and she has all sorts of health issues. And she is a magnificent, really strong being. So whenever she goes into a room, she is noticed. And one thing that we came to realize within a conversation that we were having is that she always is trying, from when she was a child, she's trying to make herself smaller, because when she comes into a room, she can take up all of the attention without even meaning to do it, because of the powerful entity that is her, because of her natural born energy, because the being that is within has this natural light. So her as a meat being, as her meat body, is trying to make her soul level be smaller and not allowing her life light to flow through her freely because of insecurities in this 3D plane. For instance, what are people going to think about me? I don't want to take up all the room. I don't want to shine all of my talents out because it'll make other people feel bad about themselves. And what we understood through the conversation is that all of the other people, that is their own insecurities to overcome. If they are intimidated by her light, then that is a gift that she is giving to them, for them to be able to deal with that and overcome that within themselves. It doesn't mean that she needs to make her experience smaller to match others' experiences outside of her. And as long as she is trying to, it's like you're going through life with this magnificent light that wants to shine out of you, and you're not allowing it to shine out of you, then you start getting sick, because it's like you're holding with the body, you're holding in something that wants to naturally flow through you. So you're creating like a stop, you're creating like a clog in the sink. And because you're thinking that it is you are you are making your life experience much smaller, and you're not giving your gift to the world. So that is an example of when you are stuck in your ego and you think that it is you, then you think that you have the right to allow or not allow whatever to flow through you, whatever energy, whatever God light wants to flow through you. And then you are stopping your own self-expression. You're stopping yourself from being your highest self. And as you go through the spiritual awakening and we transcend the ego, we get over it, and we come into control of our ego, and we understand that our ego is there for that. It holds all of the archetypes. Archetypes are structures of behavior within it, but that is not us. That is our tool. Our tools, the archetypes, are the ways that our soul can get expression in the 3D world, in this physical plane. So when we have all of these archetypes, they are ways for us to find expression. And the archetypes are on a spectrum, right? So you have the strengths of the archetypes and you have the weaknesses of the archetypes. So when you learn about the archetypes, you can see where you're sitting. If you're sitting in victim mode, let's say, there's two sides of the spectrum, right? So victim and aggressor go together. They're the same of the same. It's just like when a victim finds a partner, they're going to find an aggressor because they need to be a victim. That is their protection mechanism that they have come up with in this world. And it's always, we come up with these mechanisms that that hold us apart from our higher being, that allow us to abandon our own strengths, because we're afraid of our own strengths. We're afraid that if we allow our true nature to fly through us, what if we're not accepted? And that's the paradox, because if you are in existence, there is room for you in the world, and there is a need for you in the world, and there's a need for your light in the world. It's a matter of coming into self-mastery, mastering your avatar, mastering your ego, coming into work with your ego as the one with you, knowing that that is a divine part of you. The ego is a divine tool that you were given to use. It is your tool. It is your master tool. And transcending the ego doesn't mean getting rid of the ego. There is no getting rid of the ego. It is, and who would want to? Your ego is your master tool. It is you work with your ego. It's like God and demigod. It's like the less, I don't want to say the lesser because it's all part. You can't have this without that. So it's all divine. You have to have all parts of it. It's just like my guide to life, my counterpart on my journey, always uses like the butterfly. What's more important, the cocoon or the butterfly? The molecules that make up the cocoon or the molecules that make up the butterfly. And you have to have all of the parts in order for a butterfly to be there. There has to be, you can look at that just like with the matrix. In order to exit the matrix, there has to be a matrix. There has to be that part of the cocoon that holds up the butterfly. So you can use it in so many different aspects of life. So as you transcend your ego, which means you come into control, you come into knowing your soul and training your ego to allow all of your mighty power to flow through it, and being able to, in this avatar, hold those energies that want to come through you, hold your gifts and present them to the world in a way that is powerful. Doesn't mean aggressive, it means powerful. Knowing your power, knowing your God's light, and allowing that to flow through you. It's almost like a fear of God, the hiding in your ego and not allowing your life light to come through you, is that you are afraid of your own. What if I'm not able to contain my own power? What if you're afraid of your own power? You're afraid of standing up in the world with your own power and with your own God light that wants to come through you. So transcending the ego is really coming into yourself and allowing the ego, but it's like a marriage between your higher self and your ego, and then you become merged as one, and then you're merging the physical world with the spiritual world, which is the ultimate spirituality, because this is the plane in which we get to have this life experience. So we need to bring all of the spiritual aspects into this plane with us. That means we need to live this life in its fullest, like heaven on earth, right? Because when we are able to bring all of those layers together, the spiritual and the physical, then we are in the ultimate power of our being. Then we are able to play in this lifetime, not wait until the next lifetime, until we go back to the ethers. We were already in the ethers. We've already done this time and time again. The expansion is reaching that place of complete enlightenment in this existence. And as we get closer and closer and closer to being completely and wholly in that place, we will still have the falling in and out of heaven on earth, falling in and out of being in our master seat and coming back down into the ego to transcend some more places that are getting caught, some more places that are having pain because of expectation, especially on this twin flame journey that really pushes us through this really quick and fast, because of the unquenched wants, or because of the things that we, you have this yearning that is so strong, and that it never gets that complete satisfaction until you have to transcend it. And as you transcend that, you transcend anything on the path that is causing you those same levels of pain or anxiety. So I'm sending you guys so much love. I don't want this to be too long. So I'm sending you guys so much love. My hands are all chocolatey. Thank you for being here with me.